Hey everyone, how's it going? So what am I working on now? I got a 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan with a 4 liter, a little bit unusual. Don't see these too often. I'm not a big fan of the 4 liter. Not that they have any problems or anything, but they're like a little more complicated than I think they're worth. Um, and I don't really feel that they have that much more power over a 3.8. Personal preference, that's all it is. So if you have one with a 4 liter, great. I don't really see any problems with them. It's just, like I said, just a personal preference thing. Anyway, so vehicle got towed in. Customer said transmissions is stuck in limp mode. Okay. So we moved it because it got towed. It was put in the front. We drove it to the back. It was in limp mode. Okay. Next day I got in it. I started it up and I pulled it over and into the shop. I pulled it in over on that side. And sure enough, it was in limp mode. So I scanned it for codes. And I saw what the codes were. And it set a code P083B as in boy for the LC pressure switch rationality. So I was like, okay. It was a current code. Figured, okay, let me clear the code and let's just see if it comes right back. And sure enough, it did. Came back as soon as I started moving in the parking lot. Okay, so what I did was I went and I printed out the flow chart on how to fix this code or on how to diagnose it. And let me just show you something here real quick. So here is the flow chart. Basically talking about what it is. It shows the circuitry and theory of operation. Uses pressure switches to monitor the fluid pressure in the LR, LC, and OD elements. Kind of shows you everything that's here. Now, possible causes. Why don't you see this? Related TCM power input DTCs present, loss of prime DTC present, LC pressure signal circuit open, LC pressure signal circuit short to ground, short to voltage, transmission solenoid, TRS assembly, which is a common failure, PCM. Okay. So it has you go through some tests. So anyway, I go through the tests, and the tests are fine. I skipped one major thing that I should have done immediately, and I didn't. But I just want to explain everything here. So I start going through the test, and I start testing out everything the way they want you to test it out. Everything's testing fine. Okay. So why is this thing immediately going into limp? So I'm like, let me just try a battery disconnect just to see. Because I've seen weird things happen, and a battery disconnect has helped straighten it out. Sorry if I keep getting a glare on my glasses, but. So I did a battery disconnect, tried it, same exact scenario. Okay. So if you go through the flow chart here, this thing tells you basically replace the solenoid pack, which is mounted to the backside of the valve body, which means take the front cover off the transmission. This thing has a lower pan and a front cover. Take the front cover off, take the valve body out, replace the solenoid pack. I was like, I'm not buying it. Something's not right here. Then all of a sudden it dawned on me. Possible causes. One thing is loss of prime DTC present. Okay. What's loss of prime? Loss of prime means it lost its oil pressure, its prime of oil pressure that should remain in the system. How could that happen? It could happen if a filter cracks, could happen if a pump goes bad, if the pump, there's like check valves and stuff in that, like that in the pump, if they go bad, and the fluid drains back out of the converter. What else can cause that? Low fluid. So I took the engine oil dipstick and I shoved it down into the tranny because these things do not have dipstick. It has a dipstick tube, but no dipstick. Sure enough, nothing on the stick. Okay. I wound up adding 3 quarts of fluid to it. Okay. 3 quarts of fluid. I cleared the check engine light. Took it for a road test. Shifts beautiful. Shifts absolutely beautiful. Okay. Why is it low on fluid? Well, tranny cooler lines are leaking. So let me show you that. So here, I actually have new lines here. But the lines down here You can see they're soaking wet. See, that's one of the training cooler lines right there. And see how soaking wet it is? It's actually dripping while it's running. It was dripping on the floor. And if you look, that transmission's not original. That's a replacement transmission. I don't know how old it is. It looks like it's been in there a little while. I'd say like a year or two. But yeah, the problem is not inside the transmission. The problem, well, technically it is, but it's not a mechanical failure. It's low on fluid. And it's low on fluid because of an external leak. So what we're going to do is we're going to change these lines. I'm actually really surprised that low on fluid is creating this particular code. I would have really thought it would have set loss of prime codes or something. There's no other codes in the system. That's the only code that this thing had. So that's what really threw me for a loop. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to change these transmission cooler lines. I've actually never done a set on one of these. It's exactly the same as my Caravan. And this car is pretty much the same thing as my Caravan, except this car has the 4-liter and mine has the 3.8. So how do you get to these? Well, down there where the lines meet the transmission, it's really not that difficult. It's just you got to reach around everything to get to it. Up here is a little more difficult because the lines hide up towards the front of the radiator. If you look, there's a line right there, right there. See it with the blue dot? Okay, so how in the world do I get to it? Well, I'm going to take this upper support out. I'm going to pull the grill and that forward, take this upper support out, and I think I can get to it. Not 100%, but I think I can. So let's start doing that. All right, so we have some push clips here. We're going to pop those out. I'm thinking this is very similar. Well, I know for a fact it's very similar to my minivan. Take those push clips out. That loosens up the grill. Okay. As you can see, I'm taking out these supports here. Not a big deal. Putting everything up on the cowl. So there's a hidden screw down underneath here. All right, so with all of that out of the way, this should lift up, and it does, and tuck out. You gotta be careful because you got the hood latch here. So we're gonna rest this whole thing off to the side. Just be mindful so you don't hit something where you can scratch the paint or whatever. So I'm just gonna have it off to the side. Be mindful of the battery too. Not too concerned about it. So here I can actually see. Get you set here. Here I can actually see the connectors for the training cooler lines. Now you got to push these collars back. See that? These collars have to go back. I've explained these before, how you need these in place, which if you notice the ones on the transmission end are not in place. They really should be in place. And they have the clips in there. So let me go get what I need so I can get those clips out. Should just be a pick, but let me go grab that. Okay, so now you want to pick the edge of the clip up to try and release it. These things have a tendency to go flying. And yes, you can get these at the parts store. They sell them in packs. Okay. I'm just going to put that up on the cowl. Try to dig out the bottom one, which might be difficult because you're watching. Yeah, I'm going to have to reposition you because I can't see what I need to see. And I'm going to have to put my headlight on because I cannot see anything. So I apologize if there's a glare. You got to find the end of the clip so you can actually lift it up slightly. Now we have these in stock because they do have a tendency to go flying. And actually, let me go grab my other tool. Hang on one second. Just walking over to my toolbox here. And where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Now this is an old school carburetor clip tool. See the end there? It's an old school carburetor clip tool. And this way, you can hold the clip in place. Now, before anybody goes nuts with me here, these back in the day were also referred to as Jesus clip tools, okay? But I didn't name it, so don't go off on me for saying that. But that's what they were referred to as. And the reason they got that name was because of the words you would say because the clip would go flying. So, all right, so now, with that all free, you basically want to work the line back and forth till it pops out. Just like that. Get it out of the way. Just like that. Get it out of the way. All right. So now I have to have my headlight on because I cannot see what I'm doing. But now I'm going to dig out the clips on the bottom and I'm going to get those lines out of there. So you can watch me, but you're not going to be able to see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to back you up even further. This way you can see what I'm actually doing. Well, not that you're going to see what I'm actually doing, but you get the gist of it. So I'm going to pick out the clip, if I can even get on it. There's one. And there's actually transmission fluid puddled on top of the transmission from it leaking from the lines. But yeah, whoever did this, they should have put the retainers back in place on the lines, and they never did. Let me get some brake clean because I want to clean off the tops of the lines to do this. Let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. So if you look at the top of the lines, dang it, I dropped the brake clean. If you look at the top of the line right there, let's see. See how dirty it is? I want to spray it with brake clean, get it nice and clean. And I think I just broke the brand new can of brake clean. All right, hang on one second. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm getting down here. And I'm spraying brake clean into the tops of the fittings here just to clean out any dirt and debris. Now, had the person put those collars back in that hold the clips in place, it would have kept a lot of the dirt from getting in there too. Because you get dirt and sand in there just because of the location and stuff like that. So same thing, I'm just going to work the lines back and forth till they pop out. And now the whole line assembly can come out. And you're going to probably lose some fluid as it drips all over the place. And here's the lines. And you can see how soaking wet they are over here. See that? And it was literally coming down and dripping off the zip tie here. But now, here's those retainers. There's no reason they couldn't have put these back in place. But luckily it didn't blow off. So let me put these down. Let me pause you for a minute. Here are the new lines in case you wanted to know what the part number was. But obviously you got to look up the part number for your own particular application just to make sure. And open it up, take them out. Put them in place. Both lines are the same size, so you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure you're putting them in the right way on the vehicle. And I'm not quite sure which was the right way. Let me take a look real quick. Okay, yes. So this end with the longer tubes is the one that went down to the transmission. So what I'm going to do is feed this down in place. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but you can see me doing it. And they will naturally go in kind of one way. And I will show you once they're in place. Like if you tried to cross them, put them in the wrong direction, it's near impossible. Also finding it near impossible to get them to go in. There we go, that one's in. That one's in. Okay, we still got to put the clip in, but let me show you what we got. Just so you could see it. Turn the light on for you. Okay, so there, you can see the line in place. See that? See the line's in place? You can see the edge or the ridge of the line is actually below the clip line. So we know we're in, but now we're going to put the clips in first. So I'm not going to have you watch me maneuver to get that in place because in all honesty, you're not really seeing anything and I can't film down in there and everything else, but I'll do it up top here. But let me get those caught and then I'll show you that. So we got the clips in. If you look close, you can see the clip on top of the ridge. See it? On top of that ridge in the line, which that's what locks, oops, go from here. That's what locks the line in place, that clip. So now, what you do is you take this collar and snap it over. Now what this does is this keeps the clip compressed and on that line, so there's less of a chance of that line accidentally popping out. Because I've seen it where people don't put these clips back on or these retainers back in place, and the clips become free or pop off, and then you blow a line off. I actually made a video about that 2 years ago. So that end's done. Now we're going to do this end. Just back up. Let me put you in here. So then hopefully you can see what I'm doing. All right, let's see. And of course, there's no good adjustment to this tripod to show you this. It's about as good as it's going to get, unfortunately. Now, let me see if I can get a block of wood to wedge behind there or something to wedge behind there to hold that. Yummy. All right. All I'm going to do is put a block of wood in here just to give me a little more room. Yeah, okay, so this way you can maybe see what I'm doing. And here again, you can't really put these on in the wrong position. So here's the lower one that just snapped in. Hopefully you got to see that. Here's the upper one, and there you see where the line, where the rib is that holds the line in place, you know, through the clip, or through the use of the clip, I should say. So there, that's in place. So now, we got to do is we have to, I'm going to have to turn my light on. I apologize if there's glare. You got to get these clips in place, and sometimes these can be a real bear to get in place. Actually, it might be easier using the clip tool on this bottom one. There it goes, that's the bottom one. And we're going to put this collar in place. I say that like it's easy. And I know all you're seeing is the back of my hand here. Come on. Stop fighting me. There we go. So now, okay, you see how that's sitting in place now? Hopefully you could see that. Now the top one, same thing. We're going to put the clip on. There's 3 slits in here, and you kind of have, the clip has 3 little notches that fit into those clips. So you kind of have to straddle one and go around it to make it fit. So there, that one's in place. And then, just like that, the clips in, or the cap's in place. See that? So now everything is nice and secure. Give everything a nice little tug, and she ain't going nowhere. She is in place. See? Everything's good. So now I can take this block of hideous wood out of here. So now we can put it all back together. So what we're going to do is this and this. Let's back you up, maybe even more like that. All right, so let's get this all back together now. There's a support piece here for the cable, for the hood latch. Of course, sometimes when you have an audience, things don't want to go the way you want them to go. Now the first things I would catch is these two, because these two are the upper radiator supports. See how it moves when I move the radiator? So I would catch these two first, one on each side, to make sure that everything is lining up. That one's cool. All of these screws are all the same, just so you're aware. So that's good. So then obviously next thing is we're going to catch the bolts that hold this actual support piece to the vehicle. Because there's 4 of those. And there's centering pins here too. I don't know if you could see that. Okay. And then next we're going to catch these front support brackets. So we'll catch these, put these in place, and tighten these down. So those are good. So now finally we have the 2 push pins that can go in. Here and here. And here. Okay. So that's all good. So I'm happy with that. So now last but not least, what we want to do is we want to check the transmission fluid level. This thing does not have a dipstick. It does have this cap. And since it doesn't have a dipstick, and I'm sure most of you don't have the tool for it, use the engine oil dipstick. As long as you know where the measurement's supposed to be, you'll be absolutely fine. So let's start this up. Actually, let me clean my hands because it's a little dirty. Okay, so had it running for a couple minutes. It's not warmed up by any stretch of the imagination, but you can take your engine oil dipstick, wipe it down, and go to the dipstick tube hole. I've showed you this before. Let's see. And then stick the stick in until it stops. Pull it back out. Where's your fluid level? It's hard to see on this camera angle. Let's try this. We'll do that one more time. It's a bit low. It should be up around here. So it's probably can use another half a quart, and then I'm going to say we're good. It's probably between what it lost from my road test and trying to find the leak, like I said, it was an active drip. That's how bad it was leaking before. So let me get some fluid for this. Probably half a quart or so, should be fine. All right, I added about 3/4 of a quart. I forgot to film it. Not a big deal. And there you go. Remember I said the level should be right about there. So I'm perfectly happy with that. That's going to be perfect. Yeah. Now, a little bit of training fluid in the motor is not going to hurt nothing. As you know, I like to put transmission fluid in engines. Engine, motor, you know what I mean. I like to put it in engines to help clean up lifter tap and stuff like that, which this has a little bit of lifter tap. So, but they don't want to address it, so we're going to leave that alone. All right, let's take it for a road test. So we're going to go on a road test now. I have my scanner hooked up. This time I decided to bring my snap on. Oops, hold on, let me shut this light off. Okay. And let's go to engine. I'm not concerned about a code scan. Codes menu. Codes, no codes. Okay. So we're going to take this thing on a road test. Oh, it's got 119,000 miles on it. So we're going to take it on a road test and see how she does. And we're going to end this video. I've driven this thing about 7 miles so far, and transmission shift's absolutely perfect. So I'm happy with that. It's just amazing how a code can be so misleading when the basics are what the actual problem was. I mean, I neglected to look at the transmission fluid right off the bat, which should have been my first thing to do, but I didn't do it. I started going down a rabbit hole, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, something's not right here. So I'm glad I did that. Because had I followed what the funny thing is, you would think even with the code they should tell you, check the transmission fluid level. You would think. But anyway, it's not the fault of the flow chart, it's the fault of the technician, moi, for not checking the fluid initially. So, but all right, heading back to the shop now, and then we're gonna end this video. Just see how she shifts from this light. Shifts just like it should. That's how all these trannies shifts. They have a funky third gear shift. My van has it too. I don't know why. They all have it. But yeah, everything, it feels great. Much better than when it got towed in. Just got back to the shop. And let's see if it set any codes. Shifted absolutely beautiful, so I'm happy with that. Alright, I never got off the screen here for no codes present, but let's back out. Just going to back out completely and then go back in. No codes present. Perfect. So I am happy with that. I road tested at 11 miles, so that's more than enough. Yeah, so I think the customer skirted a bigger problem. Because if you remember that van, remember the one I took the transmission apart and it smoked that clutch pack? I did fix that, by the way. I never made a video on that, but I did fix that. One of the bearings had exploded. One of the clips, like a retaining clip, a big heavy retaining clip, had broken. So the shaft was banging in and out. It actually destroyed the output shaft in the process. I found that out a little later when I was going through it, and it ruined that one drum where all the burned clutches were sitting in. I had to replace all of that. Did all that, everything was perfect. I didn't rebuild anything else because it had already been rebuilt at some point, so everything else was fine. I wasn't worried about it. I just replaced all that stuff in that burned up section on back. But yeah, that turned out fine. But anyway, what I was getting at with that is that thing was run low on fluid because it had a tranny line leak, just like this, and it destroyed it. That one destroyed the tranny. This one, the guy's lucky. Could have very easily destroyed the transmission. So luckily it went into limp mode and he brought it in. That van, I think they just kept driving it as it was slipping. But there again, pay attention to where you're parking. You know, look for signs of leakage. I'm surprised, well, it's not due for an oil change for another 1,000 miles, but it doesn't have a date on it that I could see. So when was the actual last oil change? I don't know. I haven't the slightest idea. Let's say they added 3,000 miles to it. So let's say the oil change was done at 117 and it should be done at 120. Maybe they only put 2,000 miles on in a year. I don't know. I haven't the slightest idea. So just be mindful where you're parking your vehicle. Every once in a while, take a look for leaks. And why doesn't anybody check their oil anymore? Nobody checks their oil. I don't get it. Check your oil. So, all right. That's it. Went on a little bit of a rant there. But yeah, so anyway, that's it. Hopefully you got something out of that video. Sometimes you got to look beyond the diagnostics, look beyond the flow chart. And that's what it was on this one. So, all right. That's it. Hopefully you got something out of that video. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.